Welcome back to Focus Unleashed. This week, we're going to talk about something I think really puts everybody either in the position to be successful or in the position to fall off like they have in the past. If you think about where we are today from where we came from, we've established the foundation and we put in the things that we need to put in to put ourselves in a position to be successful. We know the identity we want to create. We understand the environment we need to be in. We know that we need to trust ourselves. But this piece is the crucial piece. And it seems so simple because we talk about it so much. And it's consistency. Consistency isn't about motivation. It's identity in motion. When you know who you are, showing up stops being a negotiation. This episode is about building the rhythm that keeps you moving forward long enough to keep becoming the person you're trying to become. Consistency is one of those things that I've struggled with in the past, and I definitely have been more consistent in the first 60 plus days of the year than I ever have in any year that I've tried to accomplish anything. And it all boils down to being the person that I want to be each and every day. I haven't become that person completely yet, but I have gotten closer and closer and closer every day through consistency. So when you're ready, strap in. We're going to be talking about consistency. All right, you ready? Here we go. Consistency has always been something that was hard for me because of the issues that I kind of discovered in the last episode. I didn't trust myself, not because I thought I was going to fail, is because I was scared of success. So consistency was always hard because as I got more consistent, yes, there is going to be more success. But is that sustainable? Was the question and the doubt that I had in my mind. So why is consistency so hard? Consistency feels hard when your identity, your environment, and your self-trust doesn't match. And that was my problem. It didn't match. I didn't have the environment. I didn't trust myself. And the identity was all over the place. You're trying to build a new life while living in the patterns of the old one. Once those pieces align, consistency stops feeling like a fight. And that is where I'm at today. I know who I want to be. So everything that I'm doing is different from what I did in the past. And I think that's something that we really need to understand. Change is part of success. If everybody could do the same things that they've always done and created success, success would not be one of those things that seems so far out of reach. Everybody would be successful. But success takes change. You have to change the patterns and change who you are in the process. And then once those things align and you trust yourself, you start building towards that identity of the person you want to become. You put yourselves in the environment where you're going to thrive and be successful. Consistency is not a fight. It's more of, this is what I do. Not, I wish I could be more consistent. It's, this is what I do on a daily basis. So as we go through consistency today, think about all the times that you've thought about, how can I be more consistent? We know that it doesn't involve motivation. No. It's becoming the person that you want to be. And once you align that with putting yourselves in the places you need to be and trusting yourself, you're going to find it a whole lot easier to be consistent. Because consistency isn't just a word, it's emotional. People think consistency is about planning or time management. It's not. It's an emotional attachment. You stay consistent when your actions feel aligned with who you're becoming. When your why is clear, the follow through becomes easier. Think about something that you worked so hard for. You worked hard, and you finally accomplished it. You have an emotional attachment to that. And as you were going through the process, whether it be get a diploma or get this job, buy a new car, buy a house, every step you took was towards that goal. And tied to that goal was the identity. Think about it. You wanted to get a new house. You wanted to be a homeowner. You worked towards that identity. You wanted to be a college graduate. You had to work towards that identity. You had to be a new car owner. You had to work towards that identity. It's an emotional attachment. These are not just actions. This is not just something you're doing. You're emotionally tying yourself to your accomplishments by becoming what you want to be. Each step of the way creates an emotional attachment to it, so that if somebody tries to take it away, they're not going to be able to, because you worked so hard for it. That's what consistency is. Consistency is not just an action. It's emotionally tying yourself to what you're trying to achieve. And every time you take a step forward, that's what you're doing. You're creating an emotional attachment. For me, I always had a why. My family is my why. My wife, my kids, they're my why. I get up every day. I go to work. I try to build this business. I work on this podcast because I want to do better for them. I want them to give them a life that I see for them and that I hope that they want. But one thing that was lacking in my why was my emotional attachment to it. Why it's important for me to succeed has a lot to do with my family and being successful for them. And although that kept me going, what threw me off track was not having an emotional attachment for myself. What attached me personally to the goal? What was my why? Why did I want it to work out? Because a lot of why I want it for my family comes from a emotional standpoint, as far as I want my kids to see that if you work hard, you can accomplish anything. I want to show my wife that all the years that she has supported me, it pays off because I'm doing the work to make it work. But a lot of it was financial as well. I want to financially provide for my family so that they have the life that they deserve. So with that, there was whys, but there was nothing that emotionally attached me to it, that if it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go in my mind, how was I going to stay consistent? And year after year after year, I would lose that consistency and fall off. So what makes this year different? This year is different because I have an emotional attachment to it. My why for everything is still my wife and kids. But with that is my own personal attachment to why this is important, and it keeps me so much more consistent. So understanding that it's an emotional attachment. You have to have an emotional attachment to it. It's not just something you can say, I want to achieve. Really dig deep down and ask yourself why this is important to me. Because if you can put emotion to it, consistency becomes a natural thing. Identity drives consistency. That's why I've talked about it so much. It's a part of the Focus Unleashed system because I think identity is something that is lacking in so many people who are trying to accomplish things. We focus on the goal and we don't focus on the person you have to become to accomplish that goal. And that is very important because you can't be the same person you are today and expect to reach the goal that you have set for yourself. It's just not possible. You have to change on some level because it's going to take more than what you're doing on a daily basis to accomplish that great big goal that you set for yourself. If you see yourself as someone who shows up, you show up. If you see yourself as someone who quits, then you're probably going to quit. Identity sets the standard. Consistency is the proof of that standard. Now, let me say that again. Identity sets the standard. Consistency is the proof of that standard. That's why identity is so important. And that's something that I lacked, was working towards the identity of the individual who accomplished the goals that I set. I always thought that I could be me, the same person who started the year, January 1st of whatever year, making this goal. I thought I could be that person and accomplish the goal. I never truly understood that I was going to have to make drastic changes based on what I wanted to accomplish to become a different person. Personality-wise, I'm me. My emotions are the same. My thought process is the same. But my actions are 100 times different than what they were 3-4 years ago. Even 2025 to 2026, you can ask anybody that truly knows me. I am truly a different person this year than I was last year. I'm just as driven, just as motivated, just as hungry, but my actions speak on how I feel instead of me having to tell everybody that I'm driven, motivated, and determined and hungry. Because I am doing the actions, I don't have to tell anybody anything. They see it. Because the consistency is the proof that I want it this year. The consistency is the proof that I'm going to accomplish it this year. I don't have to say a word. Because I've created the identity that set the standard. And now that I have set the standard and know what I have to do on a daily basis to accomplish my goals, I'm repeatedly doing it consistently. And that's the proof that I truly want it. I think that's the missing piece for a lot of people. They want it, but their actions don't prove that they want it. So, identity sets the standard. Consistency is the proof. We talked about environment. Environment makes consistency so much easier. And we discussed this in the environment episode. And I really didn't put these two elements together in this way because I knew I was going to talk about it this week. Your environment either reinforces your identity or erodes it. What is your identity? It's your standard. So your environment either reinforces your standard or it tears it down. If you remember the environment episode, what do we talk about? putting yourself in places around people and the content that you listen to, all that all that comes together. I was trying to use a big word, but I'm going to stick to the basics. All that comes together to reinforce the identity that you're trying to build. If you don't change the people you're around, if you don't put yourself in the space to start to create success, and what you take in as far as content is not supporting your identity, then it breaks everything down and kills any type of consistency that you could ever have. The people, the spaces, the content, they all shape your habits. Put yourself where your behavior is going to be a reflection of what you're trying to accomplish. We talked about it. If you want a promotion, you can't sit at the desk waiting for 5 o'clock every day and expect a promotion. You may have to come in earlier, you may have to stay later, you may have to put yourself in a position to interact with someone who can help you get promoted, or put yourself in the position to have daily interactions with the people who are going to promote you. You can't stay in the cubicle with your friends, cracking jokes, having a good time, waiting for 5 o'clock so you can go home and expect to be promoted. You have to change the people you're around, the space, and the content. And it's not always easy. But consistently doing it is going to put you in a position to accomplish the goal that you set out. So we've got environment that reinforces. We got identity, which sets the standard, and the consistency is proof of that standard. But the one important thing for me, this is for me, was self-trust. Because self-trust holds it together. You can't stay consistent if you don't trust yourself. Self-trust is built through small promises kept. You stack enough of those, and consistency becomes automatic. And that's where I'm at today. Honestly, trusting myself has been the biggest turning point for me in 2026. I have never trusted myself. And as I told you, I didn't trust myself, not because I thought I was going to fail, but because I thought I was going to succeed. I didn't want to be that one hit wonder. Oh, it happened one time, but he couldn't sustain it. Or have the expectation of me being at that level every single day because I didn't trust myself that I could stay there. Now that I trust myself and understand that the system that I've built so far and continue building on has put me in a position to have confidence in what I'm trying to accomplish. The trust is there to the point where it's an automatic thing. I don't think about, oh, this couldn't work, or if it does work, can I sustain it? No, I have systems in place. Focus Unleashed is a system that I've built based on my own weaknesses that I know other people share. And now that they're in place, the missing piece was the self-trust. And now that I trust myself, it's all in. It is all in. If you think about where we are today, we're 60 plus days into the year. You know, if you think about it like a boxing match, January and February were the first 2 rounds of the year. I gave a little and I took a little. There was been some really good consistency. Things are moving in the right direction, but there were some days where it was like, I don't know. That doubt started creeping in, but that self trust quieted that noise so fast that I'm right back on track. Even if it's for a day. When I wake up in the morning, it's like, let's go back to the consistent action. It becomes automatic. So once you trust yourself, everything becomes automatic. So it's very, very important that you trust yourself, because trusting yourself makes consistency an automatic action. And that's what we're trying to build. We haven't talked about systems in a long time as part of the foundation. But systems work because they remove negotiation. And that's where I'm at in my process. The systems that I have don't allow me to negotiate with myself and break that consistency. And if you think about it, that's a big, big problem that we have, is because there's always something going on. There's always something going on in life. You got family, you got kids, the job, something is always going on. So it's very easy to negotiate whether you're able to do something that day that is going to help you reach your goals. I want to go to the gym today, but I really need to get home and cook dinner. And I really need to get home and do laundry because I'm behind. Maybe not today, but I will do it. You negotiate yourself out of going to the gym, which makes it easier to do it the next time. It makes it easier to do it next time until you have gotten off track, and then it's twice as hard to get back on track. Systems remove that negotiation. They protect your identity from drift. A morning system, a work system, a recovery system, they remove decision fatigue and make consistency predictable. If you don't have a system, we're 60 plus days into the year. If you do not have a system and you are not seeing progress towards your goals like you would like to see, I highly recommend you develop a system. Whether it be a morning routine or whether it be a work routine, to make sure that you can get everything done and there's nothing lingering, so you don't feel bad about leaving work, so you can go to the gym or you can study at school or whatever it may be. Develop a system that's going to put you in a position to where things seem, there's always obstacles. But with systems, obstacles really don't interfere as much as they do when you don't have them. Any obstacle that comes up becomes non-negotiable. Because you're like, I really got to do laundry. I really need to cook dinner. I really don't have time to go to the gym, but I'm going to go to the gym because that's part of my system. Because what seems like an obstacle, going to the gym, you then say, I'm only going for 45 minutes. 45 minutes is not going to change that much of my day. You can sit on the couch for 45 minutes and watch TV while you're supposed to be doing laundry and cooking. Or you can go to the gym for 45 minutes, get that little energy boost because you kept a promise to yourself. You're feeling good. Come home, do laundry, cook dinner, and have a little time to watch TV and really feel accomplished. So develop the system. The system makes it so much easier for you to say, this is what I'm doing because this is who I am. I'm going to keep this promise to myself. I'm going to trust that No matter what comes up, I can do it all and I will get it done. And because of that, I will only prove that I want this as bad as I say I want it. And that's where we're at. It's time. We're in the fight now. There's no going back. You've built the foundation. You've created the identity. You know what environment you need to be in to be successful. You've got the self-trust, or you're at least working on it. But self-trust comes with consistency, comes with keeping the promises that you make for yourself. So we're in the fight. This is round 3. What are we going to do? I think it's time for us to go in. We felt out the situation. Now it's time to put our plan in place and start winning these rounds. Keeping the boxing metaphor. Consistency is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. When identity, environment, and self-trust line up, consistency becomes who you are, not something you chase. So as we wrap up today, don't think of consistency as an action. Think of it as part of who you are becoming. The more consistent you can be, the closer you are to becoming the person who is successful in 2026. This is a huge part of accomplishing those goals. We can't let obstacles or doubt or fear get in our way of our consistency. We've built the foundation to handle everything that comes our way. Now it's just time to trust, do it, and keep stacking the little wins from the promises that we keep to ourselves. And I guarantee you, you will be successful in 2026. I can feel it. I can see that I'm going to be successful this year and accomplish everything that I want to accomplish. And I'm excited, extremely excited to see what happens at the end of this month. So as we close, let's focus on the identity. Let's focus on putting ourselves in the environment where we're going to thrive and be successful. Continue to build the self-trust by keeping the promises you make to yourself. And let's be consistent every single day until we reach the goals that we're trying to reach. As always, stay focused and be ready to unleash it.